JEPI and JEPQ pay you a monthly check around 8, 9, and even possibly 10% every single month. And the problem with JEPI and JEPQ is the tax hit, especially if you have these in a taxable account, because what they're doing is some of that income is coming in as ordinary income. Now, JP Morgan saw the problem in this and they created two new ETFs to solve the tax issue, as in ROCY and ROCQ. Now, that sounds pretty good. If you ask me, you can switch the JEPI and JEPQ into those, but there are two other ETFs that have been doing this for about 2 other years. And there's one that could be all 4 of these in a head-to-head competition. And so we're going to be talking about these ETFs. We're going to be talking about which ones could belong into your portfolio, which ones are pretty good, and seeing the total return, price return, the strategy, and the tax implications of each one of these. So let's get down to it. Let's talk about it and let's dive in.
This video is purely educational content. It should not be considered personal finance advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor and I don't know your financial situation, risk tolerance, or even investment goals. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and always do your own research and consider consulting with a qualified financial professional before making any investment. All right, let's get on to the video.
Hey guys, my name is Steve and I run the Frugal Expat website where we try to help people to save more and invest better. And today we are talking about 4 ETFs beating out JEPI and JEPQ for tax efficiency. All right guys, let's get to it. Now let's start off with JEPI and JEPQ. So JEPI is supposed to be like an S&P 500 type covered call fund, but it doesn't hold all the assets under management from the S&P 500. It holds like 140 to 150 different holdings. Now what it does sell covered calls, but it uses equity linked notes in order to sell these and to create income. And so all that income is coming back as ordinary income. Now JEPQ is tracking the NASDAQ 100. It's not the entire NASDAQ 100, but most of it. And what they're doing is the same thing as JEPI. Now everybody likes these, or at least some people like these. I mean, there's like $44 billion in assets under management in these two. And so you're thinking that these could be very popular. But here's the thing is the tax issue is huge. And so JP Morgan in March of 2026 decided to solve that tax issue with ROCY and ROCQ. These are 2 ETFs that are ran by the same people as JEPI and JEPQ. They have similar yields, similar holdings, but the thing is, instead of having ELNs, they're using a covered call strategy, using the assets under management, and they're using a call spread strategy and creating some tax deferral using return of capital. And so today we're going to be talking about those two. We're also going to be diving into Goldman Sachs, GPIX and GPIQ, because they've been doing it for 2 years and they probably have a better price appreciation, and still the longevity of these two are probably a little bit better. And then we have a wild card, and that one is OVO. And we're gonna see does OVO even match these 4? Well, we'll be seeing that at the very end of the video. So let's stay tuned and let's dive in. ROCY is the JP Morgan Equity Premium Yield ETF. And ROCQ is the JP Morgan NASDAQ Premium Yield ETF. So ROCY leans towards the S&P 500, ROCQ leans towards the NASDAQ 100. They both had an expense ratio of 0.35%, meaning they both cost about $35 for every $10,000 invested. It's from the same team as JEPI and JEPQ. They just have more tax deference using return of capital. Now, ROCY's yield sitting around that 7.41%, and ROCQ is sitting around 10.35% all the way up to 10.5%. So ROCQ has probably got a better yield than ROCY, and ROCY is just not as good. Now, both of these funds use a call spread strategy. So instead of using like the put credit spread or even just the cover calls strategy, they're going to sell a cover call at a certain strike price. And what they're going to do is they're going to buy a call at a higher strike price in order to have some more uncapped upside. So let's say that the strike goes above the sell strike price and then stays below, they still get some good upside. And so that's what they're using in order to create income and also some potential price appreciation with this not having such a capped upside a part of this portfolio. Now, the JP Morgan team is also going to be actively managing the portfolio. Like I said, this is not copying the straight index. They're going to be managing it in order to offset any gains or losses and to try to make sure that you're getting the most out of your money. And the distributions, like I said before, is ROCY is doing about 7.41%, while ROCQ is doing around the 10.35 all the way up to 10.5, just depending on the month. Now, each month is a little bit different because of different volatilities, and so that could be hard to kind of determine because last month ROCQ is doing like 0.70 cents. One month it did 0.66. Another month it did 0.55. So it does range, and so it's kind of hard to stay one way or the other, but it's the inconsistency could be something you may not like. Hey guys, if you really like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I am creating a nice circle group where we can come together as a community, discuss, watch some videos, have group coaching sessions, and so much more. If you're interested in joining my circle community, there's gonna be a link in the description and in the pinned comments. Join now and see what's happening and learn from me and the rest of the community about some great income ETFs, some growth ETFs, and learning how to build a portfolio for the future. All right, guys, I'll see you guys at the community, and let's get back to the video. Now, that's a little bit about those two. Now, let's jump on to those Goldman Sachs ones. So we have GPIX and GPIQ. GPIX is the Goldman Sachs S&P 500 Premium Income ETF, while GPIQ is the Goldman Sachs Nasdaq 100 Premium Income ETF. These two ETFs track similar things to the ROCY and the ROCQ. Now, but with GPIX, you're getting the entire S&P 500. You're also selling about 25 to 75% of your portfolio in order to get some good income and also not to cap your full upside. Same for GPIQ. Holds the whole Nasdaq 100 and does the 25 to 75% of the portfolio as well. Now, both of these expense ratios are sitting at 0.29% right now, and so that's $29 for every $10,000 invested. GPIX has a yield of around 8%, while GPIQ is doing about 9.3%, just depending on the month. Now, these two have been around since 2023. They're quite tax efficient. They've been doing anywhere between 80 to 90% ROC, maybe some months a little bit higher, some months a little bit lower, but that's around the range. And so you're getting some good return of capital. ROCY and ROCQ are doing it around that 90 to 100% ROC. And so, those are some pretty good too. And so these are two different ways of creating income. And some places have said that Goldman Sachs also used 1256 contracts. And so you got some of those benefits as well. And so we have a lot of things going on, but the numbers wise, may not be as good, but we'll be getting to those later. Now, the wild card ETF that we're comparing these other two are OVL. Now, OVL is the Overlay Shares Large Cap Equity ETF from Liquid Strategies. This holds the S&P 500 through VOO. So VOO is part of its portfolio. They sell put credit spreads, which is a little bit different than covered calls. You're selling a put, and then you're buying a put at a lower strike price to cap your downside. And so they're using those to generate income. 2026, they've been paying out monthly, which has increased the yield all the way up from 10 to almost 10.5%. Now, OVL has been sitting around that 10.28% for a while, but it's between 10 and 10.5%. So that's pretty good. And so you're hoping that, this should compete with the GPIQ and also the ROCQ. And so these ETFs should be all in line. And with OVL, you're also getting expense ratio of 0.79%. So it's the most expensive on this list, getting you about $79 for every $10,000 invested. Now with OVL, you're getting uncapped upside. So the S&P 500 goes up, OVL is going to go up. And it's also going to continue to create income through this put credit spread strategies. That's really great news. It gets about 100% ROC and it uses 1256 contracts. So you get two different great tax efficient ways in order to save on taxes. So OVL to me is winning on tax efficiency versus the others, but later on we're gonna see who wins on price return and total return, because we wanna see our fund grow. And if everybody has the same yield, but nothing goes up, well, maybe we'll choose the one that grows the most. So we'll be checking that out very soon. Now, total return is where everything matters because we're reinvesting those dividends right back in and growing it. So it's price appreciation plus those dividends reinvested. So we're gonna be starting off at the lowest and seeing who wins in total return. Now, ROCY is gonna have a total return of 14.04%. GPIX is at 14.86%. ROCQ is at 16.06%. GPIQ is at 17.06%. And OVL is at 17.48%. Of course, those total returns also include those dividends, and we know that the lower dividend paying ones are probably not doing as well as the dividend ones with higher yields. And so let's look at the price return as well. ROCY is at 10.80%. GPIX is at 10.85%. ROCQ is at 11.18%. GPIQ is at 12.03%. And OVL is at 12.49%. Right there, we see kind of the pictures. So ROCY is losing out of both pictures. ROCQ is below GPIQ and OVL is at the top. That's because it has uncapped upside. It's got one of the best yields and probably ROCQs at the same point of the yield, but it's also got the best price appreciation and the best total return. So if you ask me, if I was looking for a more tax efficient way than a JEPI or JEPQ, ROCQ and ROCY would be like better JP Morgan versions, but the Goldman Sachs ones are so much better. And if you're looking for the best total return and the best yield, but maybe not the best expense ratio, then I would go with OVL. Let me know in the comments, which one are you buying in? Which ones have you bought? Do you like the ROCY or the ROCQ? Are you a Goldman Sachs fan? Or do you own all of them and you own OVL? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to also check out my video up here about OVL, OVF, and OVS, creating a 3-fund portfolio right up here. And I'll see you guys in our next video.